There are some new images and details for Dune Prophecy thanks to a recently published article by Empire magazine here in the UK. We got a brief comment from director Denis Villeneuve, and then a lot of discussion from showrunner Alison Schapker, executive producer Jordan Goldberg, and actors Emily Watson and Mark Strong. Along with some interesting details, they confirm that Dune Prophecy is set in Denis Villeneuve's Dune universe. They talk about the look and design of the new Max series, and go into character and story details. So in this video, I'm going to be discussing the images and details shared, breaking down all the newest info. Before I get into it though, if you want to keep up to date on any of my content surrounding Dune Prophecy, Dune Messiah and beyond, then don't forget to support this upload by giving it a like rating and subscribing to the channel. But without further ado, let's discuss the new images and details for Dune Prophecy. So the new edition of Empire magazine has provided us with new images and interviews for the highly anticipated show set in the world of Denis Villeneuve's Dune adaptation. The new article details a world-exclusive dive into Dune Prophecy with the showrunners, producers and crew. This article wasn't the main story in this month's Empire, but we did get 4 pages full of intriguing info about the new series. Starting with the new images featured, we get a few of them which haven't been released online yet, hence them not being in the best of quality. We got 2 images featuring Olivia Williams Tula Harkonnen observing the sisterhood training, and one of her with lead actress Emily Watson as Valia Harkonnen. We also got 2 other photos of Mark Strong's character Emperor Javico Carino and Jodie May's Empress Natalia. And there are other character shots of Travis Fimmel's Desmond Hart, Chris Mason's Kieran Atreides, and Sarah Sophie Busnina as Princess Genez. I will show these images on screen again throughout the descriptions of the interviews that took place. But now that the intro is out the way, let's get into the extended details and all of the most interesting things that were mentioned in this new article. To begin with, director Denis Villeneuve said that getting the series made goes all the way back to 2019 before his first film, and that originally he was going to direct the pilot. The Bene Gesserit have always been fascinating to me. Focusing a series on that powerful order of women seemed not only relevant and inspiring, but a dynamic setting for a television series. And yet, along with that long-term ambition, there came a plethora of issues. Empire then talked about the many problems during production, with multiple showrunners exiting, from Dana Calvo to Diane Ademu-John to now with Alison Schapker. They also detail further problems such as the pilot episode being shut down halfway through production and its lead director in Johan Rennick, and cast members Shirley Henderson and Idira Varma departing the project too. They mentioned that the show was effectively reset midway through. In the article, some of the cast members addressed these issues, which to be honest I found to be quite respectful. Mark Strong, who is playing Emperor Javico Carino and was around throughout all of these problems, said, "I was involved in the original pilot and they were very frank and open with us. They said, we're going to use this as an opportunity to make the world exactly what we want now that we have an insight into it. Then we went on a hiatus for a while, and when we came back, there were these 6 rather brilliant scripts." Showrunner Alison Schapker also added, "I just think a lot of these big properties take a long time to figure out. It's a tightrope walk to constantly try and make every decision as smart, elegant, grounded, and emotional as it can be. Sometimes you have to be in the kitchen a while. What we're doing is world building on a massive scale, and there are so many blank pages." She goes on to clarify what was reported a few weeks back, in that the show is both based on Brian Herbert and Kevin J. Anderson's Sisterhood of Dune book, but that it also goes beyond that into a new timeline and territory. She said, "Valia Harkonnen is a young woman in Sisterhood of Dune, which is set 80 years after humanity has survived a devastating war against thinking machines. Part of the show's timeline is based in this era, with Jessica Barden from The End of the Effing World playing a young Valia, determined to overcome factionalism in the Sisterhood and deal with a prophecy of humanity's devastation. But then the majority of the show is set 30 years later, after Valia, now portrayed by Emily Watson, has risen to become Mother Superior. So we're in the novels and we're out of the novels, which is an exciting structure to be in. There's room to create, but there's also a real respect for the canon. And this is where we begin to get some spicy info concerning the connections to Denis Villeneuve's Dune universe. Based on what executive producer Jordan Goldberg said to Empire, it absolutely is set in the same universe as Villeneuve's films. He said, "We feel like we have to follow the essence of what Denis has done. He set the tone." With this, Empire notes that episode 1 of Dune Prophecy has a sandworm appearance that immediately looks exactly like the worms from Villeneuve's films. Unlike those movies, the show uses practical set builds spread across 6 sound stages and even uses a studio in Budapest that the movies themselves used. Producer Goldberg builds on this though, saying that the show has a very unique flavour. He said, "The aim of the show is to reveal very different parts of Denis' universe. One thing that sets us apart is that we visit very different planets. To begin with, there's the Sisterhood imposing school on the stormy world of Wallach 9, and the Imperial Palace on House Corino's homeworld of Seleucus Secundus." He adds, "We also get to dip our toe in Lankivale, where the Harkonnens were banished after the Machine Wars, and then Caladan, where we meet the Atreides of that time. So there's an opportunity to build out the world." Again though, while it's all being expanded, the world will still look and feel connected to the movie universe, and the technology involved won't look too different because of the Dune lore. Alison Schapker explains, "During the Machine Wars, humans fought against computers and artificial intelligence and all kinds of things we're rushing headlong to develop today. Dune imagines what it would be like if the worst case scenario happened and humans had to rebuild after almost coming to the brink of extinction. So technology is stagnated, computers are forbidden. You get a kind of neo-feudal meets sci-fi futurism that offers an incredible texture." Moving on, the showrunner also gave us a few details on the characters of the new Max series and what we can expect it to explore over its 6 episodes. She said, "The Bene Gesserit are just so unbelievably charismatic. They have so much mystique and that makes them irresistible. They have a hand in politics, education and science. They're working to push the Imperium forward, to push humanity forward, but also to protect themselves and grow their own power. I thought it was brilliant to be starting a show exploring how they rose to power." The other fascinating side of the characters being explored was that of the Harkonnens. It's been really fun to think about where you would begin with that family and what seeds of the future they contain. We begin with Valia and her younger sister Tula Harkonnen, played by Olivia Williams. Their family has lost its noble status. Valia wants to reclaim their name and stature, but it's unclear how much Tula will back her. There's a sense of the sacrifices they both have made to get where they are. They trust one another, but are there secrets they're keeping? That's something the series is going to explore. We then got some more info from actress Emily Watson herself on both those 2 main characters. Watson said, "It was fun to play a part that's very powerful and manipulative. Her past will explain that moral universe where in her head she's doing everything for the good of humankind, where the end totally justifies the means." She also revealed that Valia and Tula have very different journeys over the course of the 6 episodes, saying Valia gets to go off into the different universes. Tula is given the job to stay back and hold the fort. But that was a good journey for me, the little sister finally getting her chance to run the place. Actor Mark Strong also shedded a bit more light on his character's perspective in all of this, saying he doesn't really possess the confidence, the bombast, and the authority that you might expect. He's manipulated on all fronts and he's trying to hold it all together. And he has to keep the spice production flowing, which proves to be very difficult. He's much more interesting than somebody who storms around being emperor. There's a real person in there who's struggling. He ended his part of the interview by saying that Travis Fimmel's Desmond Hart, a survivor of 12 tours of Arrakis, is who helps him gain more strength. The Empire article then comes to an end with Alison Schapker being asked about Game of Thrones comparisons and whether she has a season 2 in mind for the series, giving us quite an interesting response. She says that she can see why people have likened it to Game of Thrones in space, but adds that Dune Prophecy is more intimate and takes up a multitude of genres. Producer Goldberg also adds to this by saying, along with the political intrigue, there's a great deal of espionage, a great deal of action and adventure, and there's a romance. And what's really exciting to me is we also get to do a lot of horror stuff. This leads into the comments on the potential longevity of the show, where actress Olivia Williams hints about another season. She says, Alison definitely has the most extraordinary next season ready to shoot in her head, but if you want there to be another one, you're going to have to watch it. Producer Alison Schapker herself adds that there are big stories to be told, and that she believes in a season having an identity and feeling like it's taking you to a satisfying place. She says, but certainly at the same time, I'd very much love to keep going. So from those comments, there might be a chance that we do get a follow-up from Schapker and her team if season 1 of Dune Prophecy goes down well with audiences and becomes a success. But they were the main images and all the details released from the new Empire magazine featuring Dune Prophecy. If executed well, this could not only serve as a significant addition to the Dune saga, but also stand out as a remarkable achievement on its own. Author Frank Herbert crafted an enthralling universe brimming with possibilities, one that doesn't have to revolve around Paul Atreides. It's a confined show that is set centuries prior to Paul's existence, sidestepping the pressure of aligning plot details and allowing it to weave its own narrative within the Imperium. It can still affect where we end up in those films and keep the visual and tonal sensibilities intact too. So as a whole, I think it has a lot of potential to succeed, and even after all the troubles that it's faced during production, I think it still looks and sounds like a project that can expand on the Dune universe in a big way. I will be doing loads of videos on the show when it releases this November, including breakdowns, reviews, and topical uploads. But I'm interested to hear what you guys think towards the new images and details discussed, alongside what personally excites you the most about the upcoming series. So don't forget to let me know down below in the comments section. For much more videos and news on Denis Villeneuve's Dune universe, then subscribe to the channel and turn on your notifications. Also, if you enjoyed this video, remember to leave a like, rating, and follow me on social media via the links in the description. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed it. I've been Cortex, and as always, make some noise.